Monday, February
Yes.
9th, here on Queen City News Plus, 3 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us and kicking off your week with this fabulous crew that I am surrounded by.
And how many people are still awake, or at least 100% there from what happened last
I
night?
mean, watching from home. This is what, the day that everyone calls out sick, I guess, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
usually.
Yeah.
Even though we had a pretty good record today for people that actually did come in.
Just
right.
nationally. But anyway, we'll get into the obvious topic, right? We'll get into the Super Bowl a little bit later on in the show. I'm Morgan Francis, along with Derek Dellinger. We have Austin McCullum at the reins, so to speak, and then meteorologist Brandon Lawson, who will get into our fabulous forecast coming up in just a little bit. But top story today, we had a number of leaders from the Charlotte area in Raleigh sort of testifying, I guess, at a committee hearing over some of the violence that Charlotte has seen in the past year or so.
Yes, you have the new CMPD chief there, but you also have Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden. We also saw Mayor Vi Lyles there, as well as a number of other city leaders and elected and otherwise that were there basically testifying to the House Transportation Committee in Raleigh for the General Assembly, and they were basically going after a bunch of things. They were talking about the city's diversity initiatives, as well as the public transportation system and the incidents that have happened there. Most high profile of which being Arenas Rutska, which has been directly referenced today. Now, it's important to note that while there are some high profile incidents that have been highlighted, and there was expected to be this major grilling from leaders, we should note that Charlotte's crime itself is actually down compared to the way it was in 2024 to 2025. Basically, the basic argument here is that Charlotte leaders are not doing their job.
And the conversation, they kind of guided it back to here's what we need, right?
Yes.
Here's what we need from the state. And they talked a lot today about the recidivism rate and that it's actually gone down. However, they're seeing that the seriousness of some of the crimes, especially from juveniles, is of concern to them. We had CMPD Chief Estella Patterson. She wants a 10% increase in pay and take-home cars for CMPD. You have Sheriff Gary McFadden talking about the Juvenile Detention Center, saying that he needs $10 million annually for that. And you have the district attorney, Spencer Merriweather, saying that he needs more prosecutors. So all of these conversations kind of resulted in, well, here's what we need from you.
Yes, and this is, if I remember a bunch of these conversations were had specifically with Sheriff McFadden. It's like, hey, we can do what you need us to do. Like like Raleigh can pass as many laws as they want to that can directly or indirectly affect Charlotte. But in an effort for us to do that, we need the money to be able to do it.
Well, and Sheriff McFadden said that he wants to be consulted when legislators are writing bills, which is interesting because you don't often see that type of deep collaboration. But yeah, a lot of talk about funding, a lot of talk about what Charlotte leaders think the city of Charlotte needs to overcome some of these issues, and obviously at the core of some of it is mental health and the issue with homelessness. That needs to be addressed just with the two high-profile incidents that we've had on Charlotte Light Rails.
Yes, Queen City News chief political correspondent Andy Weber has been in Raleigh most of the day today. He'll have a breakdown of what happened today and the latest coming up on Queen City News at 4, which is coming up in just about 57 minutes or so here on Queen City News Plus. Yes. Let's move on to another story that's making headlines today. This one nationally, and one could argue also internationally. It's about Ghislaine Maxwell. There was an attempt, apparently, to interview her as part of from lawyers were trying to interview her as part of some of this deposition on some of the Epstein ties that she had, but she pleaded the fifth. Are
you surprised?
I am not.
No, I don't think anyone is. You know, lawmakers, again, they were hoping to grill her. I know that she has said that this was, and by the way, this was a subpoena by the House Oversight Committee as part of their investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, his network and how this kind of went on for years. Her lawyers indicated that she will talk, but she wants immunity granted by the president, and she hasn't received it. So she's currently serving that 20-year sentence for sex trafficking, and I think unless she gets that immunity, she's not going to say anything.
And there's a lot of concern about that immunity as to whether or not, not necessarily whether or not it'd be granted. I think there would be a lot of controversy
that it would
if
be honored.
Yes,
and, I mean, there are a lot.
Yeah, and lawmakers are really hoping Maxwell can identify some of the high-profile people that are involved in Epstein's circle, and because they want to know more about his ties and how he was able to, in their words, basically get away with sexually abusing underage girls for so long.
And this comes as the DOJ is allowing members of Congress to come in and view the 3 million some pages unredacted files. So here are the guidelines for that. They need 24 hours notice, and they can come in and review the 3 million files without redactions, and they can't bring anyone with them. They can take notes, but they can't make any electronic copies.
Yes.
So as we know, those files have now been released, but online they've been heavily redacted, and I think a lot of people want to see what exactly is said in those documents.
And Democrats are basically saying the Department of Justice is mishandling the investigation, even though the White House say there is no politics involved in this. Republicans have also been quick to push back on that claim as well. Back here locally, there was a murder case that happened on Friday, a really tragic case here. It was involved a Bank of America employee who was quite literally shot in the back on Friday twice by someone who, at least according to the family of that suspect, had some mental health issues. And this case is just, your heart kind of goes out to the victim's family in this case. Samana Andrew Smith is a 22-year-old. He's accused of killing Ina Lang on a sidewalk before taking off in his car. She worked at that Bank of America branch where this all happened. This was on
For
Calabridge
more than
Court.
20 years.
More than
she
20
had worked
years.
for Bank of America.
Yeah.
I mean, just horrible. And you know, he had you know, a hoodie on and a face covering, and apparently just walked right up to her and shot her twice in the back and took off. You know, he was driving a yellow Dodge Charger. So I think for police, it was pretty easy to, there aren't too many yellow Dodge Chargers out there.
They were able to track it down rather quickly and actually came to the house.
Yeah, and his mother said that he had mental health issues and was known to have a gun. So he told officers that yes, he drives that car and he was at Bank of America, and he now faces first-degree murder, and he's in the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office without bond. Yeah,
there was an online fundraiser that is for Lang's family, and the direct quote here from the online fundraiser: "She brought a motherly spirit to the team and will always be remembered as someone that never missed an opportunity to give and having a heart bigger than she knew what to do with." So there's that.
Want to get to this. Tijuana Brown. Many people in the Charlotte area have followed this story. Former Charlotte City Councilwoman, she appeared in federal court today for a plea agreement on her federal charges of wire fraud conspiracy and wire fraud.
Yeah, you might remember that this case from actually when it first broke. I believe it was last year. Last May, when she was accused of basically using COVID funds for various expenses, including a $15,000 lavish birthday party.
With a horse-drawn carriage, and there were pictures circulating online of a horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah, I think it happened in Uptown. And her and her daughters were indicted for misusing these COVID funds. Well, she officially pleaded guilty today. The guilty plea is not necessarily that much of a surprise, though, because she has indicated that there was a plea deal that was involved here and that she was going to plead guilty to one count of wire fraud. And she's basically said in some of the previous statements that she just basically wants to get this behind her.
And she said that she's going to be agreeing to probation, but this wasn't a sentencing hearing, so it's not official that that's what she agreed to. But investigators say that her daughters submitted at least 15 loan applications. She received more than $43,000 in COVID-19 relief funding. So some very serious charges that she was looking at.
And I think there was an attempt to get around $125,000 total, but I think she only got at least some of that.
And this is a reminder, she has a criminal history as well.
That is associated with fraud.
Right.
Yes. So. In fact, one of the things that she noted when she was elected to Charlotte City Council was she was the first formerly incarcerated woman to be elected to Charlotte City Council, and that was and she kind of held her history up as something that made her a stronger person. But she also we should also emphasize that what she's accused of doing was basically before she actually took office, and then but since then that's kind of where some of this controversy was.
Getting to some lighter news.
Yes.
The Super Bowl. We have one very happy producer and director.
Let's
Boston.
go.
Do you want to punch up the shot so you can get on camera and show
do I?
your
Hold on.
celebratory moves that you've been doing?
Hawks. Hawks. All right, back to you.
Yeah, and the competition between Sam Darnold
Speaking
and
of the
Drake
12th man.
May. Yeah, exactly. I love, maybe Drake May, I know that a lot of people around here were just hoping for a better performance from him, right? He's the hometown hero, but maybe he can kind of learn a lesson from Sam Darnold on what perseverance looks like, right? I mean, Sam Darnold, he went from the Jets, the 49ers, the Vikings, or maybe I screwed up the order.
5 teams.
Yeah. Oh, the Panthers were in there, sorry. And throughout all of this, he was trying to find the perfect team, and one that he could believe in and a team that could believe in him, and now he's a Super Bowl winner.
Yes, and you're taking a look at some video out of Seattle of some of the celebrations that were taking place. People were happy there, basically.
Pioneer Square was packed.
Yeah. And there's also a lot of talk, at least online, about the Super Bowl halftime that involved Bad Bunny. We can say at least that the ratings-ish, or at least the estimates for how many people watched that Super Bowl halftime show across the various platforms that are available is around 128 million people. And this is despite the fact that there was that controversy surrounding that halftime show, the fact that it would have been all Spanish. And it was pretty much all Spanish, with the exception of a part with Lady Gaga performance.
I saw an interesting comment online that was like, just because you don't speak Spanish doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. And then the comment underneath was, I've been watching curling all day.
well, you also
it's so true when you watch the Olympics. You're like, okay, not sure the rules here.
Well, and one thing I made a note of, like, I watched the performance last night. I watched it again today here at work, but I watched it with the English translations on.
Okay.
And knowing what the lyrics are, I mean, they, for the most part, they were very safe. But also on that same point, though, it talked about, like, believing in yourself and individuality, and also celebrating what America is, and not only including the United States, but also the various parts of North and South America.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people watching it, they kind of had hoped that there would be subtitles on it too, right?
Nope. And you didn't need it. It was a vibe.
It was a vibe. It was definitely a vibe. We should also mention that other halftime show, the one that was
Turning Point USA, different vibe.
Different vibe. Had around 6.1 million people apparently watching across various platforms.
That was during the live stream. Now I think as of like Monday morning, that video that's still up on, and this is just YouTube, so they've streamed on other platforms as well, but that video is now at around, I think, 20 million views and counting.
Yeah.
So
and
strong performance.
Yeah, and even though that performance itself kind of got a little controversy of its own, especially around Kid Rock, not only him presenting anyway because of some of the things that he has talked about in some of his songs, but also the fact that Kid Rock was apparently
lip syncing
heavily.
I mean, who isn't lip syncing in these performances?
I don't think any of the performances of the Super Bowl halftime show they were, or if they were, it was hidden very well. He did not hide very well because the microphone was down when Ba Wata Ba was basically being played, or when he was going into the chorus. Yes, I said that. Yes, I said that.
Was it Ashley Simpson on SNL who was like the famous lip syncer?
Yes.
So not quite that bad, I guess. But
I
just
actually,
assume
one could
they're all
argue
lip-syncing at this point.
One could argue it might have been worse, but because it looked a little weird.
Well, something everyone can get on board with is the weather that we're looking at this week. Just a beautiful start to the week. Brandon, I went outside for the first time today.
For the first time ever.
First time ever. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what is that? No, it's beautiful out there, though.
Yeah, it was.
Stuart Pittman, our chief photographer, he was actually talking about how it was the first time, like, I think this weekend, he was like, man, for 30 minutes, I actually didn't have to think about work because we've been covering winter storms here over the last couple of weekends. So it's been so busy. And luckily, we're in this drier pattern. We're warming things up. Things are kind of looking a little bit brighter outside with more sunshine as well. Now, although we did not have winter storms this weekend, we did have cold weather. It was a cold weekend. But the big weather story is we are warming things up. You look at our almanac from yesterday, our high temperature yesterday was only 35 degrees. One of our colder days this year, 20 degrees off of where we should be for this time of year. We're about 16 degrees warmer today at this time compared to what we were at this time yesterday. We actually surpassed the high temperature from yesterday at 10 o'clock this morning. And now we're talking about temperatures this afternoon in the lower 50s. It's 50 degrees in Charlotte, 52 in Gastonia, 52 Rock Hill, and also Lancaster and Monroe at 52 degrees. And we got a few 40s towards Wadesboro, Rockingham, but still, I mean, it feels delightful out there. And the thing is, with how cold we've been, you go outside, these 50s might feel more like 70s just because we've been dealing with 20s, 30s, and 40s for so long. It's been about since the beginning of this year since we've actually seen 60s and 70s. So lows tonight dropping into the 30s, a few 20s as you're getting up towards I-40, up into the mountains. So high pressure's in control, and it's anchored offshore. If you're a warm weather pattern fan, you're going to love this pattern because when high pressure is offshore, this is going to bring in more of a southwesterly flow, and that's going to bring in warmer air from the west. Do have another front, though, on the way. So here's the deal. We've got warmer air, but we also have much-needed rain. Two things we've been longing for here over the last couple months. And we're going to discuss how all of it comes together as we go through this week.
Have we been longing for the rain, though?
I think so. I mean, we're under a level
I know
3 out of
weather-wise.
5 drought.
It's definitely different for the ice.
Weather-wise,
I can
yes.
say that.
If Seattle wins, we will get rain, okay? It is foretold.
There's a lot of green raining down.
Why?
let's
Because
say
it's-
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
As we go to break, well, you might might know that there's like this big sporting event that's happening in Italy right now, and apparently some of the medals that are associated with that sporting event are breaking.
It's deja vu all over again.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that is
All
coming
right.
up. This is Queen City News Plus Live. Quarter after 3, this is Queen City News Plus Live as we take a live look out at the Arlington camera. Beautiful look at Uptown, and it's actually, you know what, compared to what we've seen the past few weeks,
We will take it.
we will definitely take
yeah.
it because there's no snow on the roofs. There's nothing really that you got to worry about, at least outside right now. And not only that, it's 50 degrees. Yes. So it's actually a little bit warmer than what we've seen in the past few weeks, too. We'll have Brandon Wood coming up with your 7-day forecast. Let's talk about, we've actually talked about some of these trials that have been going on with social media companies, these lawsuits that have been filed against social media companies about the perceived addictive nature and the belief that these companies have known about it. And there's one that's actually started. Actually, technically, there's two that we're going to be talking about here. One trial is in New Mexico, the other's in California. One's against Meta, the other is against Meta and YouTube over the addictiveness, potentially, of platforms and its potential harmful effects on children.
The one in New Mexico, the team built its case by posing as kids through social media accounts and then basically documenting the arrival of, sexual solicitations as well as, the response from Meta, which is the owner of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And they claim that the algorithms basically enticed and addicted young people to social media.
Yes, and there's also the allegation that Facebook and Instagram, which are owned by Meta, that they knew that there was some widespread use of children under the age of 13, and that there weren't basically any protections in place here. The trial, there's also this trial starting today about with YouTube, basically not necessarily accusing it of the same thing, but basically saying, hey, this is an addictive platform. And we've heard about the social media addiction aspect of this as well, which has become a part of lawsuits. And the allegation that these companies know about these harmful effects, but are not necessarily doing anything with it, which has led to the slew of lawsuits that have been out there.
And I think we all know that there's an algorithm that is behind these
There is.
social that wants to keep you scrolling.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see when the dust settles with all of these lawsuits what the social media experience looks like for that. On that note,
Yes.
I'm wondering if this next story is in a way connected to the whole Meta and YouTube trials and allegations. Is Discord is now rolling out an age verification that is going to be on their platform. It's coming out next month. People aren't happy about this one.
Yes, Discord itself is basically a social media platform, more or less for gaming, but it does allow for videos. It does allow for live chatting.
Conversations.
Yeah, and you can find it. It's not only gaming, but you can find it pretty much for any type of community out there.
Any topic too.
Any topic. Yeah, but they are rolling out age verification next month. I think this might be a preemptive measure, to be honest with you, to avoid lawsuits, considering Discord is getting more popular.
Without knowing what's happening behind the scenes at the company, that would be my guess on the surface of this, right? Because it says that users will be put into a teen appropriate experience by default, and then adult profiles will have all the unblurred content and can access age restricted channels, but they're going to require people to do complete facial age estimation, so basically the facial recognition
and
determine
likely IDs,
and submit their IDs to Discord. And I think what people have the issue with, Austin, is
I mean, this is my stance on this, because I use Discord pretty frequently with either with friends or through various gaming communities. I mean, this will eviscerate many of these larger gaming centric communities that are more public facing. But again, a lot of this, like you're saying, could be in response to something you've seen. How many stories have we done about Roblox?
Yeah. And
the sexual exploitation of minors through these video games that target specific age brackets, like more children. So this is Discord trying to get ahead of that. I will say one interesting fact I found today. Some users may not have to go through age verification. They are rolling out basically an AI model that will analyze the types of games a user plays, their activity on Discord, and behavioral signals like signs of your working hours or the amount of time that they spend on Discord. So, quote, this is from one of their Discord people. If we have a high confidence that they are an adult, they will not have to go through our age verification flows.
But even that sounds, I mean, I know it's not necessarily what people would call invasive, but they're tracking every little thing about you. They're with AI, they can figure out exactly who you are based off of that type of data. And another thing worth noting is that last October they had 70,000 users that may have had sensitive data, like their government ID photos, exposed after hackers breached a third-party vendor.
Which goes to a larger point of social media. Like some of social media we know is rather private. People don't necessarily want to put their full face out there, and especially if they're gaming and it's like, hey, it's a private thing. I don't necessarily know. And or if they want to engage in a gaming community, they don't necessarily want to put all their information out there. No. And that's what the internet has kind of been for a long time. It's like you have a username, it is what it is.
Anonymity is gone.
Anonymity these days is gone, because I mean, even Facebook and some other a couple of other social media platforms, they're requiring, hey, you have to use your legal name. Not only legal name, you have to provide you have to provide a lot of information for it to be legit.
Yeah, it's almost like you're applying for a loan. They need
every
single detail about you.
Yeah. To anyone who may be watching and knows this, we're all just going to migrate back to TeamSpeak or Ventrilo. Foreign words to you two. It's
foreign words.
No, but I can think like I know what you're talking about for a second.
AOL Instant. How about that?
Man, Ventrilo. I used to sim race when I was a kid. I sim race all the time, and we would use Ventrilo and TeamSpeak, and that's how we would communicate with one another during our online races.
There we go.
Just go back to AIM.
Ventrilo's years, though. I mean, gosh,
AIM, the days of AOL Instant Messenger.
BRB.
Just saying.
All right, let's talk Olympics.
All right,
yes,
Olympics.
let's talk Olympics.
So the medals are breaking again.
Yes.
This has happened before. That they were. Remember, they kind of they got worn down.
Yes.
In the last Olympics. Well, now they're just breaking away from the ribbons.
Yes, and also the clasps as well. Now, one of the medal winners is basically saying, and I quote here, "Don't jump in them," because apparently someone was, and it basically just came apart. But the medal has broken too. And
a whole bunch of them.
Apparently, Olympics people, they are actually looking into this, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, and possibly offering a replacement if need be.
But if it falls to the floor, it's going to get dented and all that. And we all know that Olympians don't get paid a whole lot to be there. So the medal is everything. And if you hand them something that immediately breaks, it's like, come on.
One of the medal winners was like, I don't need a ribbon on my medal. I just know I have my medal. So it's like, hey, you got a good point.
There's that. I did text another Olympian who won years ago to try to see if his medal is holding up. I haven't heard back yet, but I am curious if this is like a trend here, because it seems like every year there's some sort of issue with the medals.
Let's go ahead and get a check of your weather on this Monday. Let's look from our tower cam looking towards the uptown skyline. Again, beautiful sight out there. But yes, could we hit 70 tomorrow?
That's a possibility.
That is,
and I'll be waiting for my gold medal.
So are we talking short sleeve weather?
I am. Short sleeves and shorts, definitely a possibility.
Really?
If you're comfortable with it. 70 degrees. I mean, I'm in shorts at 50 and 60 sometimes, so 70 is going to feel like 90 around here. I mean, we're talking about a big turnaround, guys. This morning we woke up around freezing. We were in the 30s yesterday for high temperatures, and then by Tuesday afternoon, we're talking about highs. Yes, tomorrow afternoon near 70 degrees, if not in the lower 70s. So temperatures right now, for the most part, we've got some 50s across the region. More seasonable, 50 in Charlotte, 52 Gastonia, up in the Hickory. We're at 48. Even the mountains are dancing in the lower 40s, helping thaw out some of that leftover snow we still have from over the past weekend. Not the weekend we just had, but the weekend before. Lows tonight dropping into the 20s and 30s. It's a cold night, but it's more seasonable than what we're used to. And look at tomorrow's high. 70 degrees tomorrow for high temperature in Charlotte. If you're not in the 70s, you're at least in the upper 60s. I even think Boone will flirt with the 60-degree mark tomorrow. Wednesday, mid-60s for high temperatures. Now, here's the big thing. We do need rain around here. I don't think we get it on Wednesday that much. Maybe a spotty shower or two, a possibility. But as we get towards the week, we're looking at higher rain chances, especially by Sunday. So Valentine's Day, not looking terrible out there. We got a 40% chance of precipitation for Saturday. And that's Valentine's Day. So if you have a significant other that you're trying to take out, there could be a shower or two. We'll be around 50 degrees, but Shouldn't be a washout. Now, Sunday might break some hearts for Valentine's Day weekend when it comes down to the forecast. I've got a higher rain chance then, more widespread, a little bit of uncertainty in regards to how cold we're going to be. Could there be some winter weather around the area? I don't think that's going to be a big deal here towards Charlotte, but we could see maybe a greater chance for rain, and that is going to lead to some much-needed beneficial rainfall around the second half of the weekend.
Hopefully no more winter weather.
Yeah,
I'm
done with it.
I can deal with the cold weather, but anything else beyond
another
that,
rogue
Exactly.
storm at this
precipitation.
point.
Yeah. After 2 weeks of that, after 2 weeks of that, I think we're fine to go back to the regular Charlotte winter. Final story we've got for you today is actually a bit of a kind of a cute one. Squirrel made his way onto the soccer pitch.
The pitch invader.
These are always so fun, right? Because the crowd just they shift.
Yeah.
They go from the game to.
You can just barely see him, but yes. Okay, the soccer game between Hull City and Bristol City. It paused as a squirrel invaded the pitch not once but twice on Saturday afternoon. Now, the footage that you see there, you barely make out the squirrel there. It had spectators cheering.
If only we could put Benny Hill
music.
music. If only we could put Benny Hill music to it.
You know,
I mean, we could, but not today.
That was much cuter than the fan that rushed the field yesterday.
Yeah, but there are apparently some failed multiple attempts to get the squirrel out by throwing a coat over it, but they were eventually able to catch the rodent, remove it, and
here's the thing.
Yeah,
I mean, they were chasing. It was like an 8-minute video,
Yes.
and I'm not gonna say I watched the whole thing, but I kind of like went through it, right, clicking.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine trying to catch a squirrel. I mean, I would be afraid that it would.
That
bite me.
would be good Benny Hill routine though. Good point for the music.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching Queen
See you
City News
tomorrow.
Plus Live.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.